Ho-hum, another prototype motorcycle on the test track. Wrong, not a motorcycle, a bicycle. That's right, this speed machine is powered by human legs. You see the fella putting down the fiberglass shell? This is his baby. Then, get ready for a bike ride so bizarre you won't know if you're coming or going. How about a ride that'll take you back to the 19th century? Come on, hop on. We'll show you how, but then the rest is up to you. Residents of Gabriola Island off the coast of British Columbia have a lifestyle as relaxed as this ferry ride. The islanders are so laid back they're practically lying down. So it's the last place in the world you'd expect to meet a man who deals in speed. Would you believe pure pedal power? George Georgiev makes the fastest bicycles on the planet. Not surprisingly, his bikes stand out against the island scenery.
If you want to be noticed on the road, you sit on one of my bikes. Everybody turns their head. And I tell them, be careful, because sometimes people make accidents by looking at you guys driving cars.
Each racer is personally handcrafted by George, but he lets younger legs do the heavy work.
I don't ride them, but my imagination runs wild. I'm putting myself in the shoes of the rider, and it's almost like you see exactly and you feel exactly, and then I see you create it in such a way, so when the rider sits inside, he will feel the same way.
So what does it feel like to pedal one of these things? Brian Potier.
It's almost the ultimate achievement of cyclists. Like, a person is powering these things up to 73 miles an hour. And I don't even go that fast in the car I have right now. I'd be scared to travel at those speeds.
Would you believe 80 miles an hour? George has been building super fast bikes for more than 25 years. His record-breaking machines have made George Georgiev the world's hottest name in human-powered vehicles. And skeletons of past champions litter the property around his island home.
This three-wheeler have two wheels in the front, one wheel in the back, and been sitting here for 15 years and achieved about 54 miles an hour, top speed.
So is George an engineer? Nope, a sculptor. And that's his big advantage.
Sculpting is a knowledgeable profession. You know, you have to have a knowledge of many things. And making a bike is a very simple thing, actually, for a sculptor who is trained to sculpt, to be able to make a statue from A to Z, you know, from start to finish. It's a complex profession. That's why I went 5 years to academy. You know, it took me 5 years to graduate as a sculptor.
I don't know of any other sculptor who can make a bike that travels at highway speeds. How does he do it? Simple. Eliminate friction. George's precision parts don't rub, grind, flap, or flutter. But not all of his inventions are thoroughbred racers. This little number was obviously intended for the slow lane.
My patent agent wanted to patent it, and we went to the patent office and found out that there are about 100 patents of these things there. I thought I might have a go on it and sell it to the big warehouses and places where they, instead of walking, they can scooter around. You know, you can use it as a real scooter, you know. You can go like that if you want, or you can go like that.
Far more important to George than patents and prizes is putting a set of wheels in the hands of a disabled person. He came up with this design to help a friend in need.
It came accidentally quite a few years ago. I had a friend actually in Toronto who ran in trouble with a big dump truck and was left on the street. Quadriplegic. The thought devastated me, and I started thinking about making something for him or people like him.
So what drives George? The quest for fame? Money? Wife Andrea says it's much simpler than that.
Yeah, he's a real person. He's not somebody who just thinks highly of himself he's a humanitarian. He really cares about other people, and that's one of the main things for him. And it's very important for him to make a difference.
For a brief time, George even wanted to make a difference in the helicopter industry.
Naturally, it's a pedal-powered, it's human-powered. Most of the stuff I build is human-powered. And this thing is rotated with the pedals over there. And as you see, they turn in opposite direction. This is called counter-rotating blades. So you don't have to waste a tail cone energy.
Alas, these chopper blades never made it too far off the ground. A little miscalculation.
Oh, the only problem we encounter, they're half the size. They have to be at least twice as big to have a 200-pound lift, which we're needing. We were lifting only 120 pounds.
So, is George a genius like the mustachioed gent on the workshop wall? Many folks think so. George disagrees.
I don't even understand what does it mean. When I'm looking at the objects of Michelangelo and the rest of them, Giotto, the paintings, Caravaggio and other things, when I'm looking at these things, those people could be called geniuses. And we call them geniuses. But me, a bicycle man, and that haven't achieved much in sculpting, I'm not a genius. I cannot compare myself to these people.
Fine, George. Leave the comparisons to us, because we've made up our minds. The brains behind an 80-mile-an-hour bike deserves some kind of title. How about King George? You might have to come to Orlando, Florida to see high-wheelers like this. The bikes are called penny farthings, and there's a good reason why they're hard to find.
This technology died about 1890 when the Industrial Revolution started and they started making roller chain, and they actually came up with pneumatic tires. Those two inventions were very soon to follow the demise of this bike. And what happened, of course, is they came out with the safety bike, which was gear-driven with a chain, and they could change the wheel size then by changing the gear size on the chain. So there was a lot of advantages, and it was a much safer bike.
No kidding. Speaking of safe, how do you get off these things? Well, let's see how the pros do it. Piece of cake. Thanks to Al Sneller and his partners, penny farthings are once more in production. They build their Victory brand bikes simply because they love to ride them. How did this love affair begin? Jimmy Spillane says it was all because of his dad.
Basically traces back to a rainy Saturday afternoon at the town dump. My father found an old book on how to repair bicycles from like the 1890s, and he took it home, dried it out, and then one thing led to another. We started building the bicycle. So we did it for years, and he's now too old to do it. He's almost 80. So I came down here. These people are all gung-ho to go. So now we're all doing it. So basically it started a rainy Saturday afternoon at the dump. And this is what it has expanded into. And we have, to date, we've got quite a few out there in the world. A lot of happy people riding around.
Here comes just such a happy bunch right now. Still, I bet they weren't smiling the first time they climbed into the saddle. Ben Corcoran remembers it well.
Got the chance to ride one when I started working for Al, which was about 3 years ago. And it's kind of scary the first time you step up on it, because how hard you step on the pedal, the bike wants to go in the direction that you're stepping. But once you get used to it, it is just like riding any other bicycle in that sense, that you're pedaling and you're on a saddle and you're holding onto bars. But I love it. It's great. Can't wait to get one of my own.
Ben may have a bit of a wait. It's a time-consuming business, crafting a bicycle that's also a work of art. Still, willing hands make light work. Meet Al's right hand.
This is my partner, Diane. Diane's our expert wheel builder. Right now, we're just about ready to true up a 50-inch wheel.
I like bicycles. I've always liked bikes. Ever since I was a little kid, I've always liked bicycles. And I got into these just because it's a neat bike. I mean, they're great. I love antique bikes. And the high wheels are just, I don't know, they're just great, neat bikes. Riding them is a lot of fun. It's a whole different kind of riding when you get used to, you know, you're doing riding, you're racing and stuff, you're out there hammering as hard as you can and just go, 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 but then you get on one of these and you just sort of see the scenery and you're always, find yourself talking to the cows and kind of get a whole other look on the world from one of these because you're up so high and just a nice, slow, easygoing pace.
This is something else that we do. We do restorations on original bikes. This is a wood wheel. Wood wheels were used very commonly between about 1895 and about 1930. And almost all of the bikes that were made during those years used a wooden rim like this and a pneumatic tire that actually slipped over the top of this and glued on with orange shellac. Most of the people today don't remember riding them, but my dad did. And he got a big kick out of us restoring these bikes. These are the machines that we actually build for money. This is how we make our living. This machine is actually for growing crystal. I can show you some other crystals in the office. We make laboratory equipment, mostly for the crystal industry. We also service crucibles, and we do a lot of repair for the growth industry. You gotta make money. The bikes are our love, and this is how we make money.
So you build new bikes, you restore old ones, and you run a full-time business making commercial machinery. Anything else we should know about you, Al?
This is my other hobby. I rebuilt pianos.
And this is Jimmy's other hobby. Every once in a while, he likes to lay down his tools, tamp some gunpowder into his cannon, take it out to the backyard, and, well, let's just say that the Victory Bike premises are seldom bothered by traveling salesmen. And on a nice day, it doubles as the starting gun for the afternoon bike ride. Penny farthings resemble elegant, exotic animals, which may explain the curious response they draw from folks who are car-bound.
People in cars beat their horns at you. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about laying on their horns that they have to do that. I come back from a ride, I'll have a headache because all these people have beat their horns at me. Instead of just beep, beep, wave, they beep, lay on their horn really hard. That happened several times. Another thing that's kind of funny is what people will yell at us when we're riding these. I had one guy yell at me. The strangest one was a guy yelled at me, "Go back to England." I haven't quite figured that one out yet.
Envy, Diane. Pure envy.
What can I say?
How about saying you ain't seen nothing yet? Not till you've seen a decacycle. Up next. Now, why would a bunch of boys from small-town Saskatchewan be lugging their bikes up to a remote section of railway track? They would be following the lead of Clarence Heisler, a fellow who retired from farming and became a magician, a bicycle magician.
Okay, guys, let's pull out. Let's go.
There you have it, the world's first bicycle train. And there's no question as to who's the chief engineer. These rail bikes are just the latest in a long line of contraptions contrived by Clarence. But doesn't he know better than to play on the railway tracks? Isn't he worried about an oncoming train? Only for the train.
When the train sees me on the track, they move over or they turn around and go back. I guess it looks kind of dangerous what's coming down the road. They don't want to hit one of these things.
Maybe they're scared of being blindsided by Clarence's sense of humor. Maury Wroblewski is a fellow rider. Tell us about it, Maury.
It's not your average sport on the prairies, let's put it that way. So it should be, though. You really should.
But rail bikes are just a spur line of Clarence's mechanical ingenuity. He's got a farm full of recycled cycles. And that's not even counting the ones that are rattling around in his head. Behold the family model. Room for 5 pedalers, and still room for a trio of pint-sized sightseers.
Hi!
It's not hard to find the Heisler homestead. The bicycle accident at the end of the driveway marks the spot. It heralds a private world of wheeled wonders. Clarence, you got your own steel mill? Where do you get your raw material?
Well, I pick it up in the junkyards and I bring it home, and I think it looks much better standing in the yard here than laying out on the junk ground.
But junk's just junk until it commingles with the imagination. Tell us how it works, Clarence.
Oh, one fine day, all of a sudden, it comes a picture in my mind, and I work at it. It takes generally about 4 or 5 days to do it, because I have no plans for it or no blueprint or anything. I just make it as I go.
Clarence isn't just a bike artist. His wife, Fran, says he can repair just about anything.
Oh, there's not much he can't fix. Sometimes he don't want to fix it, and then it don't get fixed for a while, but he can do it.
It's amazing that it works, eh?
This is what you call down-home engineering. And no one appreciates it more than rail biking buddy Maury.
Oh, Clarence is absolutely amazing. He's a genius. He's an engineer. He's certainly an artist. I mean, his works have been on display in provincial galleries. He's actually amazing. And then you throw in all of that character and charm along with it. He's fascinating. He can make virtually anything out of nothing. And he's just a fantastic example of an artist.
Okay.
Clarence couldn't tell you much about the art scene. He's too busy being a parent, grandparent, and retired farmer turned road grader operator. Not to mention a man who's made enough one-of-a-kind bikes to satisfy every kid in Lake Lenore. Why, he's even got dancing bikes. Now circle twice and do-si-do, back pedal hard and around we go. Crank it to the left, crank it to the right. Push the pedal to the middle till you're out of sight.
I like this bike because everything is built backwards. The front end runs backwards and the back end runs backwards. And they asked me what I would call it, and for the heck of it, I said ass backwards, and that's the name they called it after that.
These surreal wheels are part toy, part kinetic sculpture, part serious transportation. All that aside, Clarence's granddaughter Darcy knows why she's attracted.
Well, they're fun to ride, and some of them, when you steer them, they kind of go one way and you want to go the other. It's weird how they steer, and some of them, how they pedal. If you don't pedal at the right time, then they'll spin, but that's not really bad. It's kind of fun. You can do it on purpose. It's just lots of fun riding these bikes. I don't know why, it's just fun.
Fun for the kids, but cause for concern for the adults. Fran says her hubby worries more about kids than he does about oncoming trains.
There's somebody at the door every once in a while asking to ride the bikes, but there's a no-no unless he's home, because they go kind of... You have to have a little bit of control when you let somebody take them out.
Everywhere you look, wheels within wheels and wheels on top of wheels, constantly turning, just like the ones in Clarence's head. This private playland used to be Lake Lenore's best-kept secret, but now that he's made it onto national TV...
I think a lot of them, maybe when they see us with on the Weird Wheel program, they think we're weird people.
Take it as a compliment, Clarence. If being weird can bring this much joy to this many people, then you must be doing something right. The only danger is you might grow up someday. That couldn't happen, could it, Clarence?
Probably I will grow up someday when they slam the lid on me. I already sent in my application to be reincarnated because I won't get done in this lifetime building bicycles and whatnot all.
Nope, can't stop now. Not with only bikes enough for 47 kids. And a personal escape vehicle not yet fine-tuned. Maybe Clarence Heisler's been a little too successful for his own good. His colorful contraptions are so popular, there's no space left for the inventor himself to pop a wheelie. And being bike marshal can begin to wear on even the most big-hearted of grandpas. Comes a time when a guy just has to make a break, get away, spend some quality time all by himself. Clarence, of course, will disappear in his own unique way. Time for a little solitary railroading on a stretch of decommissioned railway track. At least, I hope it's not still in use. If it is, well, Via Rail, you have been warned. And George Georgiev, he knows very well what turns his crank, turning out the world's fastest bikes. As for the penny farthing peddlers, they're so cranked they're doing victory laps on, what else? Their victory bikes. And say adios to Clarence Heisler, a man whose imagination just keeps on going and going and going